Namaskar, good evening. You're watching the special edition of the News Hour and I am Swati Joshi. First up on the broadcast is our debate number one, China COVID link charge. The debate over the leak of coronavirus from the Wuhan lab is now heating up. Several nations are now asking for a fresh probe into the origin of coronavirus. And amidst all this, damning charges have been leveled by a top Chinese virologist, Dr. Li Mengyan. Dr. Li Mengyan is first among those individuals who had claimed that this was not a natural occurrence and that the coronavirus in fact leaked from a lab in Wuhan. Now, her claims have been refuted by several bigwigs of the scientific community, but she maintains that the Chinese military leaked the deadly virus, and she also went on to say that the world should look into this theory of lab leak.
It's the second year of COVID-19 pandemic. With over 17 crore infections and over 37 lakh deaths so far, the pandemic has changed life as we know it. However, one question remains unanswered. Was it a Chinese lab or seafood market that leaked the virus? In an exclusive interview to Times Now, Chinese virologist Dr. Li Mengyan has alleged China fingerprint on the virus. Branding corona as Chinese-made bioweapon, Dr. Yan asserted that the Chinese government and military released it to create economic and social disorder.
You know, because the nature of this is Chinese novel bioweapon. As I always tell people, and which is verified in PLA, the China Army's textbook, they clearly mentioned this type of novel bioweapon is not only to use to kill people. Death rate can be less than 2%. But the point is, it looks like from nature. They deny, use misinformation to let you believe it's from nature. And then they will secondarily destroy your economic and your social order.
Barrage of work mails of top scientist in US, Dr. Anthony Fauci, released to the media, has opened Pandora's box. One mail that has grabbed headlines is of leading infectious disease expert Kristen Anderson. On February 1, 2020, the doctor apprised Fauci that some of the features of the COVID look engineered. But Li Mengyan believes that Fauci's silence on lab leak theory is part of a global misinformation campaign scripted by China.
Fauci realized this is not from nature. Dr. Fauci realized there's something wrong, even includes the gain of function project into this coronavirus. But he chose to hide up and also work with misinformation campaign from the last year. So I know this from the last year, January and February, and all the email exposed actually verified my work. First, Dr. Fauci, at his position, he should alarm and should promote the investigation of this origin of COVID-19.
As the debate over lab leak theory rages, there are voices in India too pressing for investigation to know where and what caused the virus to leak. But the confidence in WHO is waning after it gave a clean check to China.
So the lab, the Wuhan labs were not studied to that much depth. No detailed data or databases of viral genomes were shared with WHO, or in some cases, even WHO had not, the WHO-China joint team. So it was not only WHO, it was a joint team. In some cases, they had not even demanded this type of data.
After Joe Biden's call for a renewed probe into the origin of coronavirus, the British intelligence services too believe that the lab leak theory is feasible, and other nations too are joining in. With the chorus growing, will China open its gate for a fresh probe? Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour Special Edition, Debate Number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Well, let's open up the debate and go across to our guests. We're joined by Mr. Brahmachalani, Strategic Affairs Expert. We have with us Major General G.D. Bakshi, Defence Expert, and we also have R.S. Singh, author. Good evening to all of you. I first want to go across to Mr. R.S. Singh. Mr. R.S. Singh, one virus that has killed millions across the world. Several theories and very, very strong claims about the origin have been made. Intel reports suggesting that it is due to the lab leak. Apart from all of this, rather amidst all of this, there's a top Chinese virologist who's today claiming vindication after emails of Dr. Fauci have been released. She says that her stand has been vindicated, that this deadly virus was released, that this deadly virus was leaked from the Wuhan lab that has wreaked havoc today.
No, firstly, I don't know why it should be labeled as just theories. I mean, it was very, very apparent. And I'm sorry if by the deposition of Mr. Fauci in in front of Senator Paul and then Senator Kennedy. I mean, if you heard his answers, where was the doubt? And if anybody has doubt, I'm sorry to say that he is not fit to be an analyst. He may be a subverted and a motivated fellow. He was clearly asked that how did you trust the Chinese? He had no answer. The other question that was asked of him was that can you say with certainty that it was not created in lab or it was a natural phenomenon? He refused to comment on that. And then he was asked several questions, and he was. I mean, you could discern from his expressions that he is a guilty man. And let me tell you one thing. I mean, where is the doubt? Tell me. I mean, the whole world, if I use the word, is bereaved, it is devastated. I go through the figures every morning, the first thing that I do. And let me tell you, the whole world is devastated. And I see this, spreading very, very widely as far as Philippines, Indonesia and Malaysia is concerned. Japan is battered, Russia, Iran, US, entire Europe. Now tell me, in this period of devastation, should China be peddling soft power or hard power? And if it is seen to be peddling hard power, that is in the South China Sea, that is with regard to Hong Kong, that is with regard to India, juxtaposing pictures where you show your rocket, the backside of the rocket on fire, and you show funerals here. Where is the doubt? Where is the doubt about this biological warfare? Is this the period, is this period of pandemic the correct period or the appropriate period for China to settle scores? Its strategic scores, its geopolitical scores, its geopolitical ambitions, strategic ambitions. I mean, the world knows it, but I'm sorry to say there are people who, for some reasons, I don't know, I mean, the whole world knows it. But I suppose if they acknowledge this, then action will also be expected from them. And that is what they are at the moment, the whole world is trying to avoid, including India.
All right. I want to go across to Mr. Brahmachalani on that particular point. I think the problem lies when words like unlikely and uncertain are used. Why this has been called a theory, the lab leak, is because initially that was the conclusion that most people reached when there was this sudden outbreak that it had leaked from a Wuhan lab. Why else would you have the infection spreading first in that part or in that province of China and then slowly rest of the world? What we need at this point in time, Mr. Chelani, is a probe, pressure mounting on China. Because if you want to take action against China and if you want China to pay for the losses that people have suffered across the world, then you need very, very solid proof.
The solid proof may never emerge because so much time has lapsed. A year and a half has gone by. China has blocked an independent and thorough investigation into the origin of the COVID virus. So the more the time passes, the more we can be sure that concrete or conclusive proof is unlikely to emerge. Yet that will not absolve China. There are only two ways how this disease could have arisen. One is from wildlife, which is the way many infectious diseases that affect humans have emerged. This is called a zoonotic origin. The other possibility is that it came from the Wuhan lab, and you refer to the fact that this pandemic began in Wuhan, where China has a major laboratory that works on enhancing the pathogenic power of coronaviruses. So it may not have been a coincidence that this pandemic began in Wuhan city. But imagine if China did cause the single worst human-made disaster of our time, if the laboratory origin of COVID is established, what would be the implications of such a development be? First, China could become more of an international pariah. The backlash against President Xi Jinping and his one-man dictatorship will also extend to the ranks of the Chinese Communist Party. As many know, President Xi Jinping has made many enemies at home, and some in the CCP in this scenario could try to plot Xi Jinping's downfall. And the key question internationally would be how to punish China. In such a scenario, decoupling from the Chinese economy could unfold. Moreover, a confirmation of COVID's lab origin could also tar the reputation of Western officials, scientists, journalists, politicians, and pundits who are taking the lead in dismissing the lab leak hypothesis as a conspiracy theory. So the implications of a lab origin of COVID, if that is established, those implications would be quite far-reaching. They will shake up international geopolitics. They will make China a virtual pariah state, and it will, and in such a scenario, even the reputation of many Westerners who had been in the forefront of dismissing the lab leak possibility as a conspiracy theory, their reputation would also get tarnished.
Now, Major General G.D. Bakshi, WHO had an opportunity, but it claims it had limited access. And the conclusion that came out of that expert team visiting Wuhan lab was a shocker to the world. It resulted into a clean chit being given to China.
About the past. The simple fact is that the WHO team, when it reached Wuhan, was quarantined in the hotel for 15 days. Right? When it was permitted to go to Wuhan for 3 hours, it was denied access to blood samples. It was denied access to waste management system. It was denied access to the personnel who were involved, to the registers. You know, it was denied access to the hospitals where the first victims had come in. And on board this particular team of inquiry was Peter Daszak of the Eco Health Alliance, who had funded this institute to the extent of $6 lakh. All right? Give us another one. I mean, we are not such fools. We can't be, the world cannot be taken for such a ride. Look, I served in the Military Operations Directorate in 1999-2000. It was part of my charter to look after nuclear, chemical, biological warfare. From then on, we have been following the Chinese program. It is military owned. Please don't forget that in 2015, Zhu Dazak, the Air Force virologist, had a team of 18 scientists from the PLA Air Force, had been assigned the task of doing a study on biological warfare. They had made 24 presentations to the top Chinese leadership. It just shows you the importance that was given to the subject. Some conclusions of the study are worth flagging. This study started with the finding that SARS virus was genetically engineered and designed to attack China. So it shows you the Chinese mindset and perception that it has been the victim of biological warfare. Ergo sum, China is fully justified, it feels, in retaliating. And don't forget the fact that the Wuhan Institute of Virology is run by two Chinese Major Generals. Major General Shi Zhengli, the famous fat woman, and Major General Chen Wei, the man who studied Ebola and MERS in Africa. All right? Two top Chinese virologists are military men. Don't forget that Shi Zhengli had published 4 papers on how to splice the SARS hook molecule, protein molecule, onto the backbone of the bat coronavirus as part of gain of function research funded by Peter Daszak. She was helped in this by Robert Baric, of the University of North Carolina, who taught her how to do serial processing through culture to mask the origin so that it would look like a natural virus, right? But it has been caught out. Please read the paper of Nicholas Wade in the Atomic Bulletin of Scientists, the most prestigious magazine in all science, where he has ripped the zoonotic theory apart, right? The simple fact is that in 2012...
I want to take the point across to Arasin Singh. Arasin Singh, there's another Chinese... Okay, all right.
Excuse me.
Yes, all right.
You asked me the last, so let me at least say my piece, 2 pennies worth. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, what I was trying to say was that in 2012, in a disused copper mine in the Yunnan province, they had 6 of the Chinese workers had gotten sick when they were cleaning the bat feces. They had gotten sick with the disease, and their radiological signature was exactly of COVID. All right? One of the Chinese MSc students published his thesis, and he had attached that, that report. And that report, when it has been seen here, it is found exactly it was COVID. The Chinese, Shi Zhengli, she sent a team, she went herself to collect samples. 284 bats she caught from there, and, their samples were extracted. And then, she called it the RA-V1 CoV 4991. Subsequently, this has been ripped apart.
Right.
It has been found to be the same, RATA13 virus, the bat coronavirus, which is 96.2% similarity with COVID. The lid is now off. And there are two scientists, a British scientist, Angus Velgalesh, and a Norwegian scientist called Roger Sorensen. They have analyzed this signature, the sequencing of this genome, and they have found that the bat, on the backbone of the bat coronavirus, they had spliced the hook molecule from SARS, and that there were 4 positively charged amino acids placed on it. Now, positive charges repel.
All right.
Any physics student of the 8th class knows that, right? So when you have in nature, it is difficult to find 2 such positively charged amino acids together. Here there are 4. It is a dead giveaway. It is a dead giveaway that it is genetically engineered in a lab.
All right. Arasin Singh, there is this another research document, a Chinese research document from 2015. Excerpts of that were published in the Weekend Australian. That has reignited the debate of the origin of SARS-CoV, and not just that, of it also being used as a bioweapon. Now, the document's title was The Unnatural Origin of SARS and New Species of Man-Made Viruses as Genetic Bioweapons. If there's so much out there in the public domain, what are the powerful nations of the world waiting for?
No, I think this Australian thing was widely reported all over. And I must tell you that, I watched that questioning of Fauci by Senator Kennedy, he asked him that, a very funny question, that say if we were to hang Xi Jinping upside down, WHO, would fall out of his pockets, out of Xi Jinping's pockets. And he had he had a smirk on his face, Fauci. But let me also tell you that don't exclude the role of the pharma mafia that operates from the United States of America. There are three mafias: the arms mafia, the oil mafia, and the pharma mafia. And I'm sorry to say that both Bill Gates and Obama belong to the pharma mafia. While most US presidents have been from the oil mafia, Obama was the one who was from the pharma mafia. And you have an example of Pfizer. Now, Pfizer is the one which has started, talking about this, this virus mutating to hit children. And India, rightly so, had, disallowed Pfizer because they were not ready to sign our laws. They didn't want to come under our laws. So what the Americans do? They use it against their own people and say that now that we have it with surplus, surplus vaccines, so please buy them. So indirect way of, buying this, this Pfizer. So this role of the pharma mafia also in collusion with the Chinese. Why did the certain institutions fund the research, the gain of function research in China? These are questions,
That's
and
the most
this is the
important
lobby.
question. That's the most important question, Artisan Singh.
Yes.
The lobby needs to be exposed, and in fact, Pfizer BioNTech has found to be less effective against the Delta variant, which right now has wreaked havoc as far as the rise in COVID cases in India during the second surge is concerned. I want to go across to Mr. Chelani. Mr. Chelani, you spoke about the ramifications of the lab theory proving right, or being found true. Now, in what way will we make China pay for this? In what way can China be punished?
Well, it'll be impossible to make China pay reparations to the international community. China is a veto holding permanent member of the UN Security Council, and the international system that we have is based on power. It's a power-centered international system. So there is no way China can be held to account. That's the reason why China behaves in an irresponsible manner, even now, after having gifted the world a paralyzing pandemic. But I think it's possible to make China pay enormous costs in other ways. For example, if you look at China's reputation, its image since last year, since the time the pandemic began, that image and reputation have suffered enormously already, as the Pew Research Center Global Survey shows that negative attitudes of China internationally have reached historic highs. So China is already paying costs. It's paying costs, and those costs cumulatively are going to be so large that they probably might exceed any reparation claims against China. But I think it's very important that China be held to account in ways we can't have, we will never have a independent and thorough investigation into the origins of COVID, because China will not allow such a thorough investigation. But there are other ways that we can exert pressure on China. And I think the role of the US is very critical, because the Americans funded this kind of lab research in Wuhan. They sent a lot of money to Wuhan, to this lab at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And the Americans need to make a full disclosure on the extent of US government funding of the Wuhan Institute of Virology. What we know so far is that the US National Institutes of Health, which includes Anthony Fauci's NIAID, they funneled 3.4 million US dollars to the Wuhan Institute of Virology from 2014 to do research on coronaviruses to make coronaviruses more dangerous and more infectious. So that is one figure.
Right,
That is,
that is one point that is one point RSN Singh and Major General GD Bakshi also have made about the fundings and people and countries being held accountable for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Brahmachalani, Major General GD Bakshi and RSN Singh for joining us on the broadcast and taking those questions. I have to take a very short break. Thank you very much for giving us your time.